Right now, though, I want to bring on licensed professional counselor and founder of the Brain Performance Center, Leigh Richardson. Leigh, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I should say semi-afternoon. I'm good. So the question that I'm going to ask you, I don't think I need a counseling MBA or a license to answer this, and that is yes. And the question is, are we getting meaner as a society? I think undoubtedly it is yes. Do you agree? And if so, why do you think that is?
Well, I think we're getting more reactive as a society. And more reactive means we respond impulsively. We don't think through what we're going to do. And that usually does equate to bad behavior. But I think it's, there's a lot of things going on. One, many of us we've been in lockdown for a long time, and we forget how to play nice. And I think, too, that the stress level of the world is just at a higher rate right now. We're all waiting to see how we're going to get through the pandemic. Is it going to are we going to quit saying that and just say, it's just the way things are? So I do think that we're all in a much different spot. Our stress is higher, and that certainly does not inspire kind behavior.
Leigh, how much does the media play in this? And what I mean by that is you take a look at the evening news. I watch the evening news, and it makes me want to tear somebody's head off. I watch reality television. It's nothing but strife and confrontation. You get on social media. It's that pack mentality, somebody tearing somebody down. Everywhere you look, media-wise, it's somebody in your face, and usually it is negative.
I think 99% of the time it's negative. And I think that, we as individuals, we have to take digital responsibility for ourselves. Yeah, the media, it's their job to report what's bad going on in the world. But you don't have to watch it 24/7. You don't have to keep it streaming into that brain 24/7. We as individuals have got to learn, okay, little social media is good, but after 15 minutes, I'm done. And walk away. And I think that's what we're struggling with.
Well, I think social media is really the root of all evil. And I mean, I go back to, you take a look at most of these mass shootings and school shootings. When did they start? Mid-90s. When did social media kick in? Mid-90s. I mean, before mid-90s, we had guns. Guns were everywhere. You never saw kids taking a gun into a school and shooting it up. You never saw somebody going to a church and shooting it up. And if it happened in the previous 50 years, it was rare. But with the advent of social media, you take a look. I mean, these mass shootings started about the mid-90s. I just think, social media, not only the constant strife, but it's made people addicted to attention. Do anything for attention. Swallow a Tide Pod. Jump off a building. And so what do these kids do? What does somebody do that feel like they're left behind? They're lacking attention. They pick up a gun, they walk into a building, and they start shooting it up. Your thoughts?
Well, and I think social media has opened up a whole new venue for bullying. And a lot of the school shootings are, I've kind of looked at those, and a lot of those report that the person that did the shooting had been bullied. Mm-hmm. And not that makes it okay, but that social media, I mean, it's one thing to be called, oh, Leigh, your hair looks awful today in front of one person, and to put it on social media, you should have seen her hair. Oh, my gosh. And 2,000 people see it. That's a whole another level of hurt.
I agree. Talking to Leigh Richardson, licensed professional counselor and founder of the Brain Performance Center, MS. So what do we do about it, Leigh? What's the answer?
Well, I think that we have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to put some boundaries down and say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes a day on social media. I'm going to limit the amount of time that I spend watching the news. I have friends that have the news on in the background all the time, and they think that's good for them. I don't think that's good for your brain. And when you feel yourself getting a little bit stressed out, check in with yourself. Hey, Leigh, how you doing? Do you need to stop? Do you need to take a couple of deep breaths? Do you need to get up? Do you need to move a little bit? The brain needs movement. Do you need to get some fresh air? Check in with yourself. Don't get to that stress point where you're so reactive, because you feel it coming most of us can feel it coming on, and we just have to stop and catch it and breathe into it.
To your point, when I feel angst, when I feel a little on edge, I hit the gym or I go for a walk or a run, and it takes it away immediately. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. If you're more active, I think it will alleviate a lot of the pent-up frustration and anger that so many people are dealing with today.
Oh, exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make you feel good. You know, exercise is one of the pillars for brain health.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't more people get that? I mean, I just saw a survey the other day, Leigh, where it was like 27% of people admit to having no physical activity at all. Zero. I can't even imagine living a life like that.
Well, I can't either, because you talked about the gym. That's always been my stress release.
Yep.
And I think that, we have other physical conditions. I have diabetes. I have high blood pressure. So we get the canes. I can't do that. We get the canes going. I think that we're intimidated when we go to, a lot of people are very intimidated when they go to a gym. Because in some ways it's a big comparison board. Oh my gosh, look at those biceps that guy has. So for some people it's just a way to compare themselves, and they're not going to measure up. But exercise doesn't have to be at a gym. There's nothing better. You got a dog, take that dog for a nice walk.
Yep.
I mean, you can exercise in so many different ways, but you've got to understand the importance of exercise.
Right.
And just like we all know how important sleep is, how many of us turn our phones off and shut everything down and go to bed on time every night?
Right. No, there's no doubt. That's great insight. And Leigh, thank you so much for being on the show. Have a happy Thanksgiving, okay?
Thank you.
All right, that's Leigh Richardson, licensed professional counselor, founder of the Brain Performance Center, and she's exactly right. Just get out and move around a little bit. 30 minutes. That's all it will take. 30 minutes.